Ihani Washte. Good morning, sisters and brothers. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful morning. Beautiful land and mountains. And we're going to have a good day. And every day of the ceremony. My traditional Lakota name is Woableza, and it means clarity. So I had to seek the clarity and put it inside of me before I could send it out to you, the two-legged mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters. Because don't we all need clarity in our lives? In our traditional way of being and doing, we always make a prayer at sunrise. We get up just before the dawn, and that's one of the words we use in our language. We ask the Great Spirit, please give me some clarity in my life today. Please show me the path. Please open the right doors or show me the doors to choose which door I must take. But as I was visiting and teaching with my brother Calixto from Colombia, South America, in his teaching, he couldn't stop talking about that there's a change coming. But the real change is in us. The way we think about ourselves. The way we portray ourselves to others. For instance, to portray yourself as a wise grandmother, you need to ask for clarity. How do I do that? Or if I don't know, where can I find a grandmother who would share that with me? And you have many of those wise grandmothers here in your circle. And as you travel around the world, or the country, you'll be meeting more and more wise grandmothers. And you will find good things about themselves. Good things that they will share. But in order for those wise grandmothers to be balanced and to teach and take care of others, they must first begin the day and pray about it, about how to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, how can you love your children or your grandchildren or your brothers and sisters? So that's some of our work we have to do, is to work on loving ourselves. It's the most important thing in the world right now, because we have to share that love with everyone. So everyone can have something good to take with them into the future. And part of how you do that is you express your feelings to yourself and to your mother, Mother Earth. Every day, tell her that you love her and she will take care of you that day. Tell the springs that you love them, and the lakes and the rivers and the oceans. And they will love you back. They will fill you with that feeling of love. But I have a question. How many of you have a hard time expressing the love for yourselves? I was told by many wise people that we all came from good people. No matter who you are, whatever country you're from or your grandparents are from, we came from good people. And so we are good too. We just have to practice those ways of giving love to yourself and giving thanks to yourself for being who you are today and who you will be in the future. Because if there was love all around the world now, there would be no wars. There would be no hatred. And Mother Earth wouldn't have to shake and cleanse herself to prepare for her change in the future. My grandson, 10 years old, told me this spring of the dreams he'd been having. And the dreams, he was at first afraid to tell us, me and his grandmother. And he said, why? He said, because you might not believe me. And he said, because these dreams, they're not just dreams. He said, they really happened to me. They're real. And we told him and we assured him that we believed him. Just like you would assure your granddaughter or your daughter that you believe them when they speak from their heart. What he was telling us about is almost every night he has a visitor who comes to him. And he said the visitors are not from here. The visitors are from another galaxy. They don't look like us, but they're very, very kind. And they come here to check on us every so often. And right now they're really concerned about us in our place where we live. He told me, he says, the black people and the white people, they have the major continents, they're fighting. They don't trust one another. Sometimes they hate. He says, we're giving you a lot of teachers, we're sending you a lot of teachers to help with this so that everyone gets along. And they told my grandson, the time is coming really soon. They're going to show themselves. They're going to show us their ships that they travel in. And why are they going to do that? They're going to come to bring the people together, to bring peace, to bring more love. Because some of our world leaders and governments, they forgot about love. And they have to be retaught. And many of us, just ordinary people, the common people, we need to learn about the same thing. And so he said, once these two continents come together and make peace with each other, then there will be a great realization and a great shift in the world, in the world's consciousness. And I told my grandson, that's a beautiful message they gave you. You're really blessed. He said, they've been teaching you about technology too. He said, they're showing me how to make things and build things to make life easier for us. And I told him, well, I just hope and pray they're teaching that to more children. And I know they are. But we need to have cleaner water, cleaner air, cleaner soil. And when this world consciousness changes, I know we will all have that. We will all have the respect for Mother Earth that we was given in the beginning. You know, all the different cultures around the world, they have their own creation stories. But really they are all the same. So my teacher said we need to look back and find our creation stories and see what messages they carry for us today. Well, I want to tell you about a story of the way the Lakota people understand the creation. And it's in a book now, and it's called The Legend of Spirit Lake. Most of the books say the legend of Devil's Lake. But we knew it was never a negative thing, it was a good thing. So we say it's Spirit Lake. So a long, long time ago, we had many storytellers and keepers. And this storyteller told us about the other age of life on Earth, and he said that the caretakers of Mother Earth at that time were the animals, the animal nation, the bear, the deer, the antelope, the buffalo. They were the kind of the ruling, the hierarchy of the guardians. They were given more responsibility. And as time went along, they began to forget about their responsibilities and think that they were better than the other animals. They kind of became conceited. And they started to spread gossip. They brought gossip into the world. And jealousy and anger, all those things. And the animals started fighting amongst each other. Well, the great creator, he was not pleased. So he came down to the world and he appeared at a place called Spirit Lake, North Dakota these days. And he says, I'm going to call all the animals together and the two-legged. And I'm going to build a great big tent or teepee. And you all have to come and go into this tent where it'll be darkened for 7 days and 7 nights. You won't be able to see anything. But in that place and during that time, you will be changing. And of course, the dinosaurs went in there as well. Pterodactyls and many other of that class of animals. And when they came out, on the 7th day, they opened the door on the other side of the tent. They were all changed. Everyone was changed. The animals were no longer the biggest spirits in the world. They were small. Like some of the big dinosaurs. When they came out the other side, they were small. They were like the Gila monster or the little lizards or the chameleons. They changed their size. And they were humbled by that change. And then he said, when you come out, I'm going to bless this great big lake next to this area. And you all have to go in that lake and bathe yourselves and wash yourselves thoroughly. And you will come out, you will be purified. Not only your heart, your body, but also your mind. And at that time, I'm going to choose another group of my children to be caretakers of Mother Earth. And those caretakers will be the two-leggeds, the human beings. You're supposed to help teach and take care of the waters, the trees, the land, soil, plants, fish, all these people who live in the Creator's world. And so they did. in a whole new, clear set of instructions. Original instructions was put into the minds of the people, and they followed all those instructions so that the people will live in harmony and peace and love themselves and love one another. And so a beautiful world was created again here on Mother Earth. And of course, if you follow history, what history we have now, you see us human beings are kind of veered off in a different direction that we were walking. And now we have different classes of people. We value something else we didn't value before, the gold and the money. And we're not valuing life. And no one's teaching us about love. So maybe soon the Creator will come here and tell us, if we don't change your ways, He's going to change everything for us. And I just believe He'll do the best. Or she will do the best. The great Creator. For us, because the Creator loves us. And we need to love Him or her. Just as we love all these trees and birds around us. Even though some of the birds have loud voices and we get upset with them, still tell them you love them. You love their songs and their noise and their chatter. So that's a message I got from my spiritual brother from Colombia. And he told me just before he was ready to leave, he spoke publicly and he kept calling me all this time. We worked together. He said I was the maestro. I was his maestro, which I guess in Spanish language means the teacher. I was his teacher. Even though he's very wise, he called me his teacher. And then the day we left, he hugged me and he says, "You're my father." He's 10 years younger than me. And I was very humbled by him saying that. He considered me as his father. He was glad I came into his life. He loved me very heartily from his heart. I told him the same. Feel the same for you. I said, you brought a lot of beautiful, wonderful, original teachings. And I will try to speak about them in the same manner as you do and teach the original laws that you live with to our children. So everything turned out beautiful. He told us not to be concerned about a lot of things we're getting concerned about, especially with the global climate change summit going on there. And he said, all of us make choices. all of us make good mistakes and bad mistakes. So we must forgive those who we have those feelings for, and tell them that we love them. And I thought those were very wise words. Things will change with this new essence of love that's coming to this world. It's going to be a new essence, a higher essence. That's what I believe. And I'd asked earlier if anyone knew how to make a sundial. I said we could put a sundial right here. And that I would know the time.
You got a couple minutes, Grandpa.
Well, my sundial over here, Badger, told me I have a few more minutes. Thank you. So is there any questions you have this year in your journey of life? Anything you'd like to ask me today? As we did our teachings in Northern California, there's a couple times when I finished speaking, because I spoke first generally, when it was time for Callisto to speak, he says, I don't have anything to say. I said, why? Because you already told me everything I was going to talk about. I said, oh, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me because I did the same thing to him last year. He said the same thing to me. But what it did was, it made him pull out more stories or gifts from within him, that we even had a better teaching. So after I looked at it that way, I said, well, I'm glad everything turned out all right. Yes? Yes?
What do you feel about the activism for
The activism for change? All the activists? Well, for sure we need them to remind us. But the big thing that happened to me that showed me a very powerful thing about activism was up in North Dakota, when I spent all winter long in a tent, and we were having a protest against the pipeline, the oil pipeline. And before we decided to gather and go there, we asked for guidance from the spiritual world, and the spiritual world says, go there with no weapons. Have a peaceful protest, and it'll be more powerful than you could imagine. And so it was very powerful. So many people came from all over the world to support us. They sent messages. They sent supplies. I mean, not just a little bit of supplies, almost an overabundance of supplies. They even sent water trucks in that would purify the water, which worked very well until they experienced a deep North Dakota freeze. We got well below zero. Those trucks froze up. There's big long icicles next morning hanging from the faucets of that truck. So we had to go back the old way of melting the ice by boiling it. But they brought everything we needed. I said, this is just a wonderful feeling I have here because everyone's sharing. And you know that the sharing is not topical, it's coming from deep within them, from their hearts. They're sharing. I mean, I had to think about, I didn't have to pray really hard. I would think about, well, today I need a toothbrush and more toothpaste. And now when someone would knock on my door and I'd open up and someone brought me a toothbrush and toothpaste. And they brought us, 1,800 teepees, thousands of yurts, truckloads and truckloads of shoes, winter boots, and brand new winter coats to help us make it through the winter storm. I thought he was tapping on my desk. Bad. I thought you was tapping on my desk.
There we go.
Oh, but he was just whisking away the
I wanted
flies.
you to finish. I wanted you to finish. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'm really happy to be here. I'm happy to share more and help you with anything that you need. And I'm so very happy. My brother White Wolf, I'm glad he's here to help me to add to the story and share his wonderful gifts. Thank you. Oh.
Thank you.